Welcome back, boys and girls, and as we have promised you, there's plenty of content coming your way in March and for the rest of the season, so make sure you hit subscribe. And Raj is here with his best mate, the board.
Back with a bang.
Yeah, it has been overdue, and today we are very, very excited to finally look at Bruno Fernandes. We've been talking about it a lot away from actually on videos, and we've been going, we need to get on this guy, and today he was the star man against Everton. So just before we look into that, but I have a question for you guys first. Drop your answers in the comments below and all your thoughts during the video as well. Is Bruno Fernandes the best signing this season? If he is, let us know why, and if he isn't, let us know who is in the comments below. And as usual, keep your comments coming. Raj, you're ready, you're locked and loaded, you're at the board, so I'll let you kick things off.
So yeah, it was a very, very interesting performance from Bruno Fernandes today. He was definitely using a slightly different role. So Solskjaer, he set up with a kind of a diamond system. He had Greenwood and Martial as the most advanced players, and then Bruno was often dropping in behind them as a sort of number 10, but sometimes he was pushing on further as well as a bit of a false nine kind of type player, Firmino-esque you might say, not in style but in positioning. And then behind that he had a three in midfield. He had McTominay on the right side of the diamond, Fred here, Matic deepest at the base. And I thought it was an interesting role for Bruno today. It meant he was always involved really, because those three guys in the engine room, I'll call it, those three were more concentrating on off the ball stuff. They were cutting out passing lanes for Everton, getting them into the front two players, and Everton actually to resort to long balls over the top and into the channels because of that. And because of that solid setup in midfield, that meant Bruno was the man tasked with creating everything. He was always dropping deep, and he was looking to make penetrating passes into Martial, and especially Greenwood, who was coming a lot narrower than Martial. Martial was really holding his width a lot more, but it was Greenwood who was getting closer to him in central areas. So yeah, it was a very interesting performance of Bruno, and he was really the fulcrum of the whole Man United attack.
Well, I mean, he had a stellar first half and the second half as well. And as you mentioned, the system, the 4-3-1-2, is the first time I think we've seen Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually start with that system. And often when Everton had the ball at the back, Bruno was actually the furthest pressing, almost, as you mentioned, like Firmino. Now, the reason I find that really interesting is because actually he's an attacking midfielder, but Martial likes to come, like, drift off the left, and Manchester United almost pushed him out there. Once Coleman came off, Sidibe came on even more so, and Greenwood, as you mentioned, is almost like a narrow forward. But everything went through Bruno Fernandes. I mean, his stats for the game were outrageous. 100% dribbling. There's a moment in the second half where he took two players on the left-hand side and they both dropped to the floor. And I think what we've seen of Bruno Fernandes is more than what people expected, in the sense of he's not just a goal scorer, not just an assist merchant. He actually just runs the game. And I think you tweeted about it, the way he drops in and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not going to rob your tweet. I'm going to let you explain what you meant by that.
So yeah, looking at the stats, he had the most touches out of anyone from Manchester United. I think it was 93 touches. And that is, for an attacking midfielder, that is quite strange really. Because normally, you think of the Erikssons and Coutinhos, they're not always running the game. They pop up in between the lines here in specific moments really. But Bruno was doing that, plus he was getting into deeper positions in midfield. There was an occasion at the end of the first half, he picks it up in this kind of position here, plays a forward pass, leads to something, Everton managed to get a foot in, goes back to him, plays another forward pass. So he really was playmaking from deep as well as getting in between the lines. The thing is, you saw two different types to Bruno. First half, Man U had 60% possession and they were dominating the game, and as we said, he was playmaking from deep. Second half, he became more of a kind of counter-attacking transition mechanism to attack. You saw on one occasion on the left-hand side, he positioned himself in a good position on the counter, and he managed to just dribble it away from Sidibe, who really lost him quite easy. Then he got to the left-hand touchline, outside of the boot, curling pass, almost went to Odion Igalo. So that's what I'm saying. There's different sides to his game. First half, possession-based, trying to be a playmaker. Second half, counter-attacking threat. And I think that is a great sign for Man United.
Well, in the words of yourself, he's multifaceted. Is that the one? Yeah. He basically can.
That's
he can play in so many different variations. I think his stats that really stood out today: 7 ball recoveries, 5 tackles won, which is the most on the pitch, 6 shots, most on the pitch, 18 final third passes completed, most on the pitch. And I think the point we're making here is, we thought Manchester United bought a number 10, so some people are going to have to get the ball to him. I think what he showed today was not only can he be the one that transitions possession for United, he can also be the one that's on the final ball for United and the final finish for United, and it really gives you an all-rounded midfield. I think when you've got Fred, Matic and McTominay behind him, you've essentially got three players who just want to get the ball into areas where Bruno can do the magic, and that really benefits Bruno. He's just got a free role, and when I mentioned it to Raj earlier, and we've spoken about it earlier in the video as well, almost Firmino-esque where he can roam around, but the difference probably is Firmino, because he's a forward, kind of hangs in and around the penalty area. Bruno, there was a moment, I think Manchester United get on the counter-attack and he's on the halfway line, he dummies it lands to Greenwood, goes wide to Martial. There's so many moments where at times he's picking it up on the left, like you mentioned, sometimes he's on the right, sometimes he's in his own half. There's a free kick, I think, where he picks out a long diagonal ball from pretty much 40 yards away. And essentially what we're looking at here is like a player who can, don't want to jump the gun early, but he can essentially do everything. And that almost makes you think, and we mentioned before, if Pogba and Bruno were in the team, wow. But he's almost doing what Manchester United expect of Pogba and what Manchester United expect of what Bruno now is. Raj has finally left his best mate at the board. He doesn't want to leave the board, but we have to drag him away because we're going to talk about Bruno Fernandes and versatility. We've sort of touched on it a little bit, but I think we've already seen from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the way he's moved him around the pitch and also at his previous club as well. And I know Raj is ready to go because it is general themes. It is his favourite part of the video.
Yeah, I think we've already seen, even in Man United colours, he's already played 3 different positions. We saw in the Wolves game where he made his home debut, he played in the actual double pivot as one of the defensive midfielders, and he actually managed to control the game from that position. And then since then we've seen him play as a number 10 in a 4-2-3-1, and he's really been brilliant there. So since then we've seen him play in a number 10 role, and he's been magnificent there. Really, his end product has been brilliant. He's had 3 goals and 2 assists in 6 games, and I think that shows that's what Man United bought him for, end product. And then today we've seen him play in a false 9 role and a number 10 role, where he's played and dropped deep, as well as being a key producer in the attacking third. So you see the versatility right there. And I think even for Portugal, interestingly, they've played this diamond system that Man U played, and he's played on the right side of the diamond where McTominay's played today. So look how many roles this guy can play. And I think why that's important for Man U, that means they can fit signings in and around him. They don't have to specifically buy players for specific positions, because they know Bruno can slot in a number of slots. So that means the other guys can then have they've got more freedom to go where they want to. So I think it's key for United.
Well, I know when United first signed, we mentioned about Pogba, and I think we were saying like United need Bruno, but they also need a replacement for Pogba, and I still think that is the case. But what we've seen from Bruno is he's got such adaptability to play both roles. But we saw in today's game, and my concern was how will he perform against a better team. There were moments in the game where you, like, if you're a United fan, you want that ball to get to him faster because he's the most important player on the pitch, and that transition in possession just didn't really happen far too frequently. In the second half, United was suffocated. And I know you've got a man that you really think would be the fix for United to get the best out of Bruno, even more so than what we've seen now.
Yeah, well, I think you're right about that. It is about getting the ball to him in dangerous areas. You don't want to overburden him with some of the deeper playmaking stuff, because he is that lethal in the final third. You saw when he almost assisted for Igalo. You need someone giving him that ball in those kind of situations a lot more. As you said, Pogba, I think he could be good for him, because obviously, naturally, Pogba does occupy the left-hand side of the pitch as well, and Bruno likes that right-hand channel to get where he can often swing crosses in, which we haven't seen so much of at United, but he can do that, and that is his naturally favoured position. But Pogba, I think he could fit well with him. But then the other one who you're referring to, I think, is Hosamara, who I've mentioned to you in the past. This guy is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if all the viewers watched Lyon versus Juventus. This guy played Juve's midfield, the likes of Pjanic, Bentancur, Rabiot. He played them all off the park. He was phenomenal. And again, he likes occupying that left-hand side of the pitch. And his whole role in his team for Lyon is he's the one who carries the ball into the final third. That is literally tailor-made for Bruno Fernandes to excel.
Yeah, exactly. I think You look at Pogba and you think Pogba can transition the ball pretty quickly with long direct passes. He can clip it into channels. Hosmauer is like a different monster. I'm always drooling a little bit at the prospect of having them two in the same team.
I describe him as a kind of French Iniesta type. Is how I describe him.
He's still pretty young, but if United managed to get that deal over the line, I think they could also benefit from a forward who runs off their man. I think with Martial, the problem today, quite a few times in the first half in particular, was he loves sliding the ball down into the channels in between centre-back and full-back, which is a really good trait of any attacking midfielder. But because of Martial's sort of relaxed and swaggerous style, he doesn't fancy sprinting onto them. Swaggerous, new word right there for you. He doesn't fancy sprinting onto them end balls. Aside from frontman and Hosmauer, potentially, United with both of them would certainly be easily in the top four right now. The other side that you interestingly touched on, I think I've seen it quite a few from other people as well, is this goalkeeping issue in the Premier League. The goal today against Pickford, in my opinion, a lot of keepers should be saving that. But this season, there's 2 goalkeeping errors in this game alone. De Gea is joined by Pickford, Leno, and De Vraka for 7 errors since the start of last season. Individual goalkeeping errors that have led to goals. And you think that's actually a problem that benefits Bruno Fernandes?
So yeah, I think when we did a Bruno Fernandes analysis video when he signed, and the stat was that he takes 3.65 shots per 90 minutes. When he was at Sporting, and 2.27 of those were outside the area. And I think that, as you've mentioned, the goalkeeping weakness in the Premier League, that could actually take advantage of that. As you mentioned Dubravka, Leno, Pickford, De Gea. Then you got the likes of Kepa as well, he's made errors. So Matt Ryan yesterday looked poor. There's just a numerous weak goalkeepers in the Premier League now. Lloris, he's made errors on occasion. And I think Fernandes' long shot ability could actually be a strength here. As we saw today, people were saying Pickford should save it. It did have power on it, and I think a lot of keepers in the Premier League might get caught out by stuff like that. And it's because he hits it early as well. It's hard for them to react. And I think it could be a strength for him.
Yeah, I think one thing I've seen about Bruno is he doesn't let keepers settle. Even there's a moment in the second half where he tries to lift it over Pickford. It's actually a good save, but he was scrambling. He really was scrambling. And it's because Bruno takes his chances early. And it's one of those old-fashioned things that you actually say to strikers, turn and shoot. You don't want defenders to settle, you don't want strikers to settle. And Bruno's old-fashioned like that. He gets the ball, shoots. But that is all for Bruno Fernandes on today's video. What a performance against Everton. Although it was 1-1, Manchester United could have won the game, so could have Everton. There was a bit of drama at the end of VAR and confused the hell out of me and probably a lot of other people as well. But if you enjoyed this video, just drop a like on it. Comment below with all your thoughts. We'll reply to your comments. Me and Raj will be in the comments replying. And subscribe if you're new. We'll see you next week for plenty more content.